Hello friends, welcome to nixHive. Today we are going to look at most two important things when you register a domain. So now here we have registered a domain and we are going to look at how to enable Cloudflare on your domain, and second thing, how to enable DNSSEC on your registered domain. So let's get into it. So first thing first, you need to register a domain name. We have nixHive registered in Google. You can say domains.google.com. You can register any domain from there. So we have registered nixHive in domains.google. Okay. So second thing, you need to have an account on Cloudflare. You can simply go to cloudflare.com and sign up for an account. So once you sign up for an account, you will have this dashboard where you can add your site. So here we are going to add our site. Okay, we have typed our domain name here in Cloudflare. So let's click on add site. So you have multiple options here with the plan. One is the free, which we are going to use today. And there are like a pro, which gives a WAF, and you have business plan and enterprise plan. So our lab purpose, let's get into the option of free. So let's click here and select continue. Okay, now we are here. Now what Cloudflare is going to do is like it's going to scan your domain name for any DNS record, existing DNS record. So this is a new registered domain, so it will just show some records which is coming by default on Google. So we have these records here, few MX record which Google uses to forward any emails saved there. So when you have a live domain, for example, if you were having a domain and you were having DNS record hosted somewhere else, and if you're here, make sure you disable this button here when you are moving to Cloudflare. So because the thing is, if you want to avoid any downtime, you should make sure that proxy status is disabled when you are setting up the Cloudflare, for example. So let's click on continue. And yes, now we are here. It's asking to change the name servers. We have these 4 name servers and we need to change the name server to Cloudflare. So now we are in this step where it is asking to change your name server. So remember, we were in the plan selection, then review your DNS record, then we have the name server changing option now. So here we can see that these are the 4 name servers we are currently using. It's listed exactly here. So we need to use the custom name server. So we are here in the second step. Here it's asking to review the DNS record. So it scanned a lot of DNS record actually. So these are the default MX record which Google is using to forward the domain name emails actually. Then we have a default record which was detected, and we need to make sure that the proxy DNS is disabled. So because we are migrating the DNS record to Cloudflare, we just need to make sure that we disable the proxy status to disabled before changing the name server. The thing is, like, if you enable it, and when you enable it, the SSL will start working from Cloudflare account actually. So if the SSL is not enabled for some reason, all your website is going to show a SSL error if you enable the proxy button here, and if the SSL didn't come up in Cloudflare for any reason. So before proceeding with this step, make sure that all the proxy status is disabled, and just cross check with your current DNS provider and add any missing record. So for any reason, maybe the Cloudflare didn't detect any DNS record which is present on your current DNS server, you just need to copy those DNS record and come here and click add record and select the record type which is there on the old server, and select it, and for example test and 1 2 3 4, and make sure that the proxy status is disabled and click save. So like this, you can add any missing record, MX record and everything. Then once you're done with this thing, you just review your DNS record and make sure, as we said, it is disabled. Then you just click continue. Once you click continue, we are in the third name servers changing section. So here you're going to change the name server. So for example, if you are decided to change the name server to Cloudflare, and you are using this name server, for example, because my domain is currently registered with Google, that's why it came by default with the Google DNS server. So before changing it, you have to make sure that, because you are going to change the name server from your registrar, right? So you need to make sure that if the DNSSEC option is there and if it is enabled, you have to make sure that it is disabled. So you just disable it, then you change the name server to Cloudflare. This is important because if you forget to disable the name server, forget to disable the DNSSEC, and if you change the name server, your domain is going to stop working. So make sure you check that. So DNSSEC is disabled at the moment. Okay, now you can see that you have 4 DNS server and you need to change that name server to these 2. So let's go here, click custom domain, custom name server, click plus, then here sky.ns, click here, then plus, save it. Okay, now you have changed the name server for this. So now you can come here and you can say done, check name server. Okay, now we are here, just a quick start guide. You can finish it later, or you can say get started. Then it says automatic HTTPS rewrite. Maybe you have a live domain, make it disabled. For security, you can say that you want to enable it, because this will rewrite all HTTP to HTTPS, and for security it is good. But if you are using some website on your domain with HTTP only without HTTPS, that's very rare. But if you have something, make sure it is disabled. Click save, and always use HTTPS. This also, it will, on your domain, whatever comes to HTTP, it will redirect to HTTPS. Make sure, check if you have any domain or website which is running on HTTP only. In that case, you should disable it. For my domain lab, okay, we can just enable it. Optimizing, you can enable anything like JavaScript, CSS, HTML, minify, but make sure you check that, because sometimes it's going to break your website. So be careful with that. Broadly compression also, if you want to make the website faster, you can enable it. If you have a running website which is production use, make sure disable it and then test it on your test domain DNS record later. Then you can play with it. Okay, here we have the summary. I just enabled this too, then auto minify and broadly is off. Okay, so now we are here. So it says that we are just waiting for the name server to be changed. So here it's just checking it. Once everything is done and verified, we will not be able to see the screen again. Actually, it will show that we are done with the configuration. Okay, now we have changed the name server. We are here with the existing records, and what I was saying is, like, before enabling this, you should make sure that you have SSL here. So for example, you're going to SSL TLS, and you have to make sure that this is full, because browser will send the HTTPS traffic to Cloudflare, and Cloudflare should send the HTTPS traffic to the origin server HTTPS. That's what is called full. So if you're going to flexible, it's going to send the traffic to HTTP. So it's going to break most of the things if you don't have a specific rule set here to respect that my traffic which is coming from Cloudflare is actually an HTTPS. So basically you can set to full, and you can install any self-signed or any self-signed or any default or free certificate, any one expert certificate on origin server, and that is going to trust this communication and everything should work smoothly. And if you want to have another additional check, you can go for full strict option, which is going to check the validity of the certificate and everything. Otherwise the connection is going to fail. So for us, full is the best option. So let's enable it. So if you go to the edge certificate, you can see that you don't have an SSL here. That's what. Once the name server is changed properly and it is detected, Cloudflare is going to give you a free SSL, wildcard SSL on your domain, which is here nixHivelabs.com. So this thing, you need to make sure that your name server is changed to see the certificate here. Unless you get an email from Cloudflare that your name server is changed, you are not going to set the certificate here. So in the meantime, if you had enabled something like Cloudflare button, that time that site is going to show you an error page like HTTPS page is broken. So make sure you disable this before changing the name server. This is the most important things when you do something on a live running website. But for test and everything is fine, you just add it and then you set up from the scratch. Okay, now the second thing which we said is the DNSSEC. So let's scroll down here and click on enable DNSSEC. So you have to be on the DNS page and you have to scroll down. You have to come here called DNSSEC. Click enable DNSSEC and it's going to show you some records that you need to add it on your registrar. So you can see here, to enable DNSSEC, you will need to add this DS record to your registrar. Most registrars will ask for only a few of this field. We have instructions for common registrars here. So let's click here. We are here and our registrar is Google. So let's go to Google. Okay, so Google is here. So this is the option when you are on custom name server by default. So this is the Google link. So as I said earlier, if you are registered the domain name with Google and the DNSSEC is there, it's just a matter of clicking a tick button and your domain name will be having DNSSEC. So when you're having a custom name server, for example, now Cloudflare, we have created the records here and we need to copy this thing to the registrar. So here you can say that to activate the DNSSEC, identify one or more DNSSEC key records your DNS provider created for your domain. Our DNS provider is Cloudflare now. Then obtain the DNS following value from the provider: key tag, algorithm, digest type, and digest. So here is the thing. So let's go here and let's add. So you need to add it here. So you need to add the key tag. So our key tag is this one. Click here. Then the second thing which asks is the algorithm. So let's see what is our algorithm. Is 13. So our algorithm is 13. Then digest type is SHA-256. So should be here, and the digest is here. So let's add it here. Add. Okay, it's added. Now, so we are saying dig nixHivelabs.com and DS. So it's going to show you the DS record. So this is the DS record 319 starting with and ending with ECF. So we have the DS record already, and yeah, all good. So our domain name is set up for the DNSSEC, and we are on Cloudflare. We are just waiting for this to go. So guys, now we have a great news. Now Cloudflare is now protecting your site. So Cloudflare verified that everything is set up and everything is configured properly. Now, as we said, let's go to SSL and TLS section and make sure that our certificates are ready or not. Yeah. So now we have our SSL certificates here, nixHive and star.nixHivelabs.com. So we have a universal SSL active for almost a year with the validity, and this is a certificate managed by Cloudflare, and the validity period is 1 year, and the verification method was TXT. You can say that, you know, the DNS records are managed by Cloudflare, so it does the job. It does the DNS record creation and verifying the DNS records, and it creates the records for the SSL, and it will be automatically renewed. So we don't need to worry about any issue or any renewal of or payment of this SSL. By default, Cloudflare gives you a wildcard SSL, which is going to be free for 1 year, and after 1 year it is going to renew automatically. So it's here. Now you can come to DNS and you can start adding any record for your website, and you can make sure that it is proxied. So that means like you're going to get free SSL and protection on that DNS record when you enable the Cloudflare proxy button. So now we are in the SSL checker. So let's see if we have SSL on our website. Okay. Now we have SSL for nixHivelabs.com. It's going to expire in 1 year, as we just saw it there. It is issued by Cloudflare, and we have here SNI, which is server name identification. That is the way Cloudflare serves our SSL, and we have wildcard SSL for nixHivelabs, and that means star.nixHivelabs.com. So we had already created www. So let's check that as well. It will show you that it applies by star.nixHivelabs.com SSL. So that's it, guys. Now we have set up we have registered our domain name, and we have configured Cloudflare for it, and we enabled DNSSEC from Cloudflare, and we added the record in the registrar, which is Google. So everything is good, solid. So these are the basic things you have to do when you register a domain name, or a basic protection you can add with the Cloudflare. Maybe you'll be thinking like, why do I need to move the domain name DNS record to Cloudflare? All other DNS record or DNS service provider just gives you the DNS management option. So it basically, when you add a DNS record, it by default is public, and anyone can see your DNS record and server IP. So here, when you add the DNS record here, basically these IPs are hidden from the public. So for example, if you go and dig here, dig www.nixHivelabs.com, press enter, is going to give you another 2 IP. So we have 1.2.3.4 here for www, and let's see what is the record without www. So here also you can see it's showing a different IP, which is owned by Cloudflare, and your IPs are hidden and no one knows it, only you knows it. So you're going to get a DNS service for free, and a wildcard SSL for free, and a basic DDoS protection for free. So even a Cloudflare free plan, you are going to get the DNS service, a wildcard SSL for lifetime. It will be automatically renewed, and also DDoS protection, and it will hide your IP from public. That means like no one knows your server IPs. So this was the short video about like what you have to do, and this is the two basic thing you have to do for any domain name. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you for watching. If you would like to see more videos like this, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.